who are we answering to when we're explaining ourselves to ourselves? We're getting in the way of this communication. There is no explaining ourselves to ourselves. There is no need to explain ourselves to ourselves. This implies that we're answering to someone, like a boss, desperately seeking an answer or affirmation that we're okay, and in so doing reiterating a position of static and confusion, one of victimhood. The signals are there. We seek to affirm to this higher self that we're good, but we haven't yet, from this position, assumed the position of total control. We're sitting in a gap between the soul and the self, in a place of illusion. We do not need to explain ourselves to ourselves. Iboga teaches this. The soul yelling every time we experience something we don't like, giving us clear, concise signals, pleading for us to get out of the way of ourselves, to take that leap between the flesh and the soul. It is always there. It will always be there, whether we pick it up now or not. We do not need to further its strength, this gap. We do not need to stretch the gap, protract the gap by explaining ourselves to ourselves. It's experiential knowledge. No man can tell another man how he thinks. Iboga can help a man understand how he thinks, because Iboga is you. It is us. It is me. It is an extension of the soul, and therefore it is an extension of self. It is the conduit between the worlds that we experience, and it closes the gap, but only insofar as we can get out of the way. Being in the way, the soul and self are acting somewhat like repelling magnets. By removing the self out of this position and heeding or paying heed to the messages, and in these great conditions of the self, through Iboga, listen and watch and learn the art of watching and listening, and take that leap of faith, we can reconvene. The hardest part is beginning to learn to take that initial signal as one coming from not a fairy tale, not something that's unreal, but something that's very real, us. It's not a pretty idea. For many years I grew up being conditioned into believing this illusion, that anything that was outside of conventional accepted reality was somehow unreal. These are subliminal implications we can feel inside us all of the time. The unreality of things, the fantasy of things. They're the fantasy. The fact that these are actually portrayed and gifted to you as the fantasy is the fantasy. That is the conspiracy. That is what's unreal. The reality is that these things are hyper-real. They're more real than real could ever be. Your existence outside of this physical plane is everything. It is everywhere. It is in your eyeball. It is in your breath. It is in Iboga. Iboga's tremendous ability to plug us into this network is not a myth. I continually experience it, and I'm astounded to talk about it. It's growing every day, and it can heal. It does. It will never stop. It is not time dependent. It is not spatially dependent. It waits because it's you. It's not something outside of the self. It's not a drug. It's not a compound that assails the body and merges the body and takes over the body. That's you thinking that. That's what you're already doing if you're seeking Iboga. You're in the way of yourself. You're infecting yourself. And just because there's a collective wisdom around the world that millions of people living in negativity does not guarantee or affirm that that is actual reality. All that guarantees or affirms is that there are millions of people living in illusion. It's the soul of man, the soul of you, not me. I have my soul, I listen to my soul. I love my soul. I pine for my soul. I doubt of my soul. I doubt about my soul. Either way, I'm acknowledging, even by repelling it, that it's reality, that it is reality. If I try to not acknowledge that there is a reality there calling me out of negativity, I'm affirming it. There's no escaping it. The strength is in everyone. The healing is in everyone. It can be an addiction, an affliction, mind, mental, injury, does not matter. By surrendering to the signal of the initial calling that is prompting one to come towards Iboga is the first step of healing. It is already working. Iboga calls. It is calling. Because it is you. You are calling through that ability. That plant is the conduit back to yourself. And through hard work and diligence, this will occur. The work begins at the rebirthing and the reconvening with this plant. That's when the work begins. The choices happen. The understanding by surrendering that we can choose, that we're finally free. And work is not what we think work is. Work is not working in an office. Work is not working how you are at home. The real work, the enjoyable work, the hard work, the love. Love is hard work. So it should be. If we ignore ourselves over years and years and we come to a position where we're totally broken, that's taken a long time to wind up that negativity, those negative thoughts. And if we can undertake something like merging with a plant, such as Iboga, and start to begin to unwind those thoughts, even over 1 session, 2 sessions, 3 sessions, 4 sessions, 5 sessions, that's an incredible turnaround from the 20 or 30 or 40 odd years it took to wind this up. To start to unwind them so quickly is an incredible thing. It's the power of the soul. You do not need to fluff things up to make it more attractive to yourself. And you don't need to fluff things up, someone like myself, to make it more attractive to you. Come and take Iboga. As someone here talking to someone else, I need only know that someone has listened to that call for me to feel powerful and orientated in the right direction. It further strengthens my belief. It's beautiful, and I feel so blessed and privileged to be a part of that with others. We are in our infancy, and we're already experiencing great transformations through Iboga and through Akara here. And we're looking forward to doing this more and more. Our journey is just beginning, and our development awaits. So I would implore everyone, or anyone seeking to really consider, to start to listen to those signals and practice trusting that those signals are real. If they're coming across as a negative, it's because there's something that needs to be looked at. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's there for us. Basim.